Hey everybody, it's John Ray with NFTreasure, Smarter Coin, and Jade Protocol. And today I'm going to be talking about your treasure allocation as a diamond hand in Smarter Coin and in NFTreasure. And why the price of treasure doesn't matter. I also am going to talk about why you may not get your founder's allocation of treasure for 180 days and why that's actually a good thing for you and for the protocol. So we're going to dive in. You're going to get to decide in an upcoming vote how founders receive their allocation. But I'm going to highlight why I feel a 180-day lockup would be the right choice if we were doing what's most responsible for the platform and most poised for NFTreasure seeing growth and thriving in the future. So I've got some notes here that I'm going to go through to make sure that I hit all of the points, but I want to talk about what it means to be a founder in a blockchain protocol. So one of the things that we have to think about since we are founders in NFTreasure is the supply-demand ratio and how we create equilibrium in the platform. And that thinking, when we're thinking about the tokenomics, has to be mature and come from the perspective of long-term investing, because ultimately we have to build out enough space for the project to take off and hit that tipping point. And if you look at any project in blockchain, investors and founders are almost always given a pre-launch allocation that has a time-locked period followed by a vesting period. So a lock period means that you have that allocation. You basically have a receipt on that allocation, but you cannot actually pull any of that allocation into your wallet for a particular period of time. So a 180-day lockup would mean that you have a receipt that says you get this much treasure token, but it's held in a Gnosis safe or a vault for 180 days. And then after that 180 days, there would then be an additional vesting period. So if it was a 180-day vesting period, you would have that receipt. You would know that you're going to be getting treasure token in 180 days. And then on that 181st day, you would start to receive an allocation that slowly drips to you over an additional 180-day period. And this is how almost every blockchain project works when it comes to allocating tokens to early investors. And it's one of the reasons that early investors get a preferential economics or pre-launch allocation. And of course, the reason for this lockup period and this vesting option is to prevent, really what we've been talking about all these months in Smarter Coin and Jade is that nobody wants the team to be dumping on all of the investors and crashing the token price. And so, the worst thing for NFTreasure would be to hand out the entire founder's allocation to 8,040 diamond hands and have them all sell on day one. That would basically be a project killer. And of course, it doesn't promote a healthy ecosystem. It doesn't create that supply-demand equilibrium that as project founders we need to be thinking about. And so it's why in this video I'm going to advocate for a 180-day lockup. And that will be basically a way for founders to recognize that the more they engage with the platform, the more that they help contribute to the community, the more votes that they're voting on, ultimately, the more that allocation becomes something meaningful to them. And so the way that the treasure distribution is going to work in NFTreasure is going to work like this. So as a diamond hand, and if you're a diamond hand by going to smarterswap.xyz and seeing if you have a diamond tier there. And if you do have a diamond tier there, that means that you're going to get this pre-launch allocation. So on launch day, you're going to mint your NF key for free. You'll just pay the gas fee, and then you're going to stake your JLP into NFTreasure. You'll start opening treasure boxes, and as a founder, you're going to begin earning treasure from the base rewards pool on day one by playing the treasure box DeFi game. So as soon as you mint that NF key and start opening treasure boxes, you're going to start earning treasure right away that will be going into your wallet. You can claim it, and you'll be getting that treasure from day one. You're also going to begin earning treasure from the bonus rewards pool from day one. And the way that you increase the amount of treasure that you're earning from day one in the bonus rewards pool is by single-side staking your treasure, which then earns you VE treasure, and VE treasure boosts how much treasure you're earning from the bonus rewards pool. You will earn treasure from day one by staking your Smarter AVAX LP tokens. You will earn treasure from day one by staking your TRESR AVAX LP tokens. So these will be new LP tokens that you can pair up and stake into the platform. And then you will earn more treasure by upgrading your NF key level and obviously opening treasure boxes and moving up in treasure tier. So all of these things that I just mentioned are going to earn you treasure immediately from day one. So it's not like you're not going to have treasure for 180 days. You'll start earning from the base rewards pool, which is the founders pool. Only founders and NF key holders get access to that. And from the bonus pool on day one, that starts going into your wallet. You've already seen how it works in the beta version of the protocol, where you can then claim those treasure tokens whenever you want. But let's talk about why the price of treasure really doesn't matter, especially early on. So the treasure box game, the base rewards pool, and the bonus rewards pool are designed to create a completely fair launch and determination of protocol ownership. So this isn't one of those insane high APR, bull market cash grab pump and dumps like we saw last year. This is the tokenomics have learned from all of that, and it's designed to be as sustainable as possible. And the reason for that is that we want there to be long-term success in the protocol. We can't have what happened to almost all high APR projects, last December, where, they had this rip-roaring pump, over a 30 to 60 day period, and then a rip-roaring 99% dump. We saw that in so many projects, and this project is designed, rather than you trying to extract a bunch of short-term profits, it's more about rewarding those people who have long-term thinking and will be a good owner and founder in the project. So the way that it works is when the NFT marketplace collects its 2.5% fee on NFT buys, sells, mints, raffles, a percentage of that fee goes to the NFT treasury, and then the NFT treasury is going to buy treasure token off of the open market and put that treasure token into the bonus rewards pool. So this is basically how treasure token will start to capture some of the revenue from the protocol, because the protocol will be buying treasure off the open market. So the same thing happens when somebody mints a retail NF key, when somebody buys a one of the no-code NFT generator memberships, and when somebody engages as an agency client. A portion of all of those fees collected by the platform are used to buy treasure token off the open market, and then that treasure token that was bought off the open market is placed into the bonus rewards pool. Now, early on, we will be minting treasure into both the base rewards pool and the bonus rewards pool, but treasure does have a capped supply. And the end game is really about who owns the largest percentage of the bonus rewards pool, and those people forever capturing a percentage of the revenue from the entire NFT ecosystem. So one thing that we haven't talked about, because we've been working out the details of this, but treasure is not going to be forever inflationary. Just like Smarter Coin was capped, treasure will also have a supply cap. And so that means that while treasure will be highly inflationary early on in the game, in the latter stages of the protocol, once emissions are capped, treasure token will become deflationary. And as we know from talking about this same phenomena in Smarter, our thesis for Smarter is designed to prove out that when a token turns deflationary and demand outpaces supply, we should see a U-shaped recovery. And so the idea is that, we're already starting to see some of that with Smarter Coin. And at some point in the future, when we hit the supply cap for Treasure Token, we will also see a similar phenomenon there. Now, the reason that the per token price of Treasure doesn't really matter is because once we go to deflationary, as the protocol continues to take those fees and buy Treasure off the open market and then distribute it to those who own the bonus rewards pool, it doesn't matter if you're getting 10,000 treasure there or 1 treasure, because the value is being captured either way. So if one treasure equals 0.00001, then you'll just be getting more treasure. If one treasure equals $1, you'll be getting less treasure, but the value capture will be the same, because ultimately the purpose of the treasure box game is designed to reward the people who are thinking about how to become the best owner of the bonus rewards pool and really the best steward of the platform as a founder. So that means that early on, Treasure is going to have minimal value. And this is really by design, because like I mentioned, we're purposely keeping the initial launch liquidity pool. We're going to keep that small in order to disincentivize suicide compounding and, make sure that those pirates that ruined the Smarter Coin game aren't able to ruin Treasure. And so I'm saying this out loud in this video because I want to set the proper expectations that we are not in a bull run. This is not going to be a high APR rewards payout game. It's not going to be this pump and dump thing where you're making $1 bajillion a day early on and then the token slowly goes to zero, because that's essentially a pump and dump. This is not that. The sole purpose of the way that we've designed the tokenomics are to distribute protocol ownership in the largest portion to the most responsible players. So that means that those that have long-term thinking, those that are staking Smarter AVAX JLP, those that are staking Treasure AVAX LP, those that are upgrading their NF key, those that are single-sided staking Treasure to grow their VE Treasure balance. The tokenomics are designed to reward those people, the most responsible players, the most, by ultimately allowing them to capture more of the bonus rewards pool long-term. So the treasure box game winners will be those who keep the long-term prize in sight in lieu of short-term profits. So we have to think differently as founders about this. So the thesis is you want to own as much treasure as possible when we hit the treasure supply cap. Because remember, when we hit that supply cap, it moves from being an inflationary token to a deflationary token. In the NF Treasury will be forever buying Treasure Token with revenue from the protocol. That means that Treasure Token, like Smarter Coin, becomes massively deflationary, and each Treasure Token captures more of that revenue and more of that, the value of that. Because remember, as we become deflationary, people are still going to be burning treasure. We'll have other opportunities for burning treasure to mint things, etc. So the token supply will actually be diminishing, but the protocol revenue will still be captured by that treasure token, which is why long-term, owning the largest percentage of the bonus rewards pool is the smartest and most responsible way to be a founding member in this project. So you, with your gameplay, get to determine, do you actually want to be a founder, or are you just trying to extract, like a pirate, short-term value from the protocol? And again, we've designed the economics of the system because this is the most fair way to determine who gets to own the platform. We all have the potential to own by being diamond hands in the Smarter Coin experiment, but how you play the treasure game and how you engage with the protocol ultimately determines how much you end up growing your ownership of the bonus rewards pool. So that, of course, means that we have to think about the economics of Treasure Token from the perspective of being a founder. And we know it would have been silly for Jeff Bezos and his early investors to dump all of their allocation, early on in Amazon just because the short-term price spiked. They held on to that and they continue to hold because as Amazon grows, they're able to capture more and more value with their early pre-launch allocation. And that's the way that investors think about project allocations, and the reason why we're going to be locking founder allocations up for 90 to 100 days and then vesting them after the initial lockup. Now, you'll get to vote on whether it's 90 or 180 days. And what I'm trying to build the case for here is that 180 days would be most beneficial to long-term founders, people who have a long-term vision for this project, and to the protocol as a whole. So the idea here is that we need to give NFTreasure enough economic space to grow and thrive before early and founders start to dump their treasure token on the open market. And what this does is it creates healthy equilibrium and it tunes all of the participants playing the treasure box game and engaging with NFTreasure to a longer term timeline that ultimately equates to decision making in the project that will be more wholly beneficial for the ecosystem as a whole. So this is about thinking about things from a project perspective where we have to take in the consideration of how does the protocol capture value, how do we personally capture value, and how do we create the most value for the community that we're growing. And the goal of the treasure box game should not be to take short-term profits. That's really the wrong way to think about it. The goal is to grow your ownership in the protocol as a whole by growing your ownership in the bonus rewards pool. And we're each making a long-term bet on the future success or potential future success of the platform. So by taking early actions that benefit the platform, the treasure allocation that begins vesting to us after the initial lockup period should theoretically be more meaningful in 180 days than it will be on day one. Because if we've done our job properly by promoting the platform, by making healthy ecosystem decisions, we will over time grow the size of the liquidity pool, grow how much revenue the platform is capturing, and ultimately grow how much value the treasure token is capturing. So for NFTreasure to be successful, we have to take healthy actions in the ecosystem. So that means that we each have to actually use the NFT marketplace to buy and sell all of our NFTs. Like we need to make a choice that we're going to be listing, selling, buying, and engaging with the actual profit or project, which ultimately creates that profit. We need to be coming up with creative project ideas that we can launch with the no-code NFT generator. And I really want us to, as a community, think about, being open to failing as an NFT project owner, using what I think we can call boutique mints. So minting 10 or 100 piece collections just to learn how to be an effective project creator, and to really get comfortable and confident in expressing ourselves through the medium that is NFT growth. And then also thinking about how do we onboard new people into the platform. And I'm going to be creating a lot of educational content about how we can pitch NFTs to in real life businesses. The other things that we need to do for a healthy ecosystem is to play the treasure box game at least once a week. We need to be logging in and engaging with the platform so that we have those analytics to show to partners and to really drive traffic into the protocol and drive volume into the protocol. And then we need to be staking the treasure that we own or that we earn in the treasure box game. We need to stake that in order to grow our VE treasure balance, which ultimately grows our ownership of the bonus rewards pool, which captures the revenue of the protocol. We need to be adding liquidity to the Smarter AVAX LP pool, and we need to be forming new LP in the Treasure AVAX LP pool. We need to be purchasing NFTs off the secondary market. This will continually raise the floor price of the NFTs. It will make sure that those owning NFTs are only responsible project founders, and it also will improve your treasure rewards, because the more NFTs you have and the more you level up those NFTs, your collective NFT value. So if you have 2 keys each at level 10, your collective NFT value is 20, and that ultimately plays into your ownership percentage of the bonus rewards pool. Other things that we can do to grow a healthy ecosystem are participating in all of NFTreasure's auctions and raffles. Sending NFT projects that are looking for web design, copywriting, tokenomics, consulting, and launch support. We want to send all of those to the NFTreasure agency, and we'll have an easy way for you to do that. We need to be sharing the platform with other communities and coming up with kind of grassroots ways to promote NFTreasure. And then finally, thinking like a founder investor, always should be at the front of our mind as we are voting in ways that are most conducive to the long-term growth and health of the ecosystem. So we need to be voting for things that create the proper supply-demand equilibrium that ultimately is going to serve all of the founders of the project. So I'll recap by saying you're going to get a free mint of your NFT on launch day for NFTreasure. You just pay gas. You will immediately begin earning treasure token from the base rewards pool once you stake your NFT and begin opening treasure boxes. So you will be getting a steady flow of treasure from day one. You will immediately begin earning treasure token from the bonus rewards pool once you stake your NFT, start single-side staking your first treasure token, because once you start earning VE treasure, you start earning from the bonus rewards pool. And then as you stake more and more Smarter AVAX LP tokens and Treasure AVAX LP tokens, all of these things start to produce treasure rewards for you from day one. Your founder's allocation, however, of treasure is going to have a lockup period on it, followed by a vesting period. So today, I'm launching a vote to determine how long that lockup investing period should be. The longer the lockup investing period, the better it is for the platform and the long-term success of the protocol. And what each of us have to decide is, are we going to engage with NFTreasure as a true founder, thinking about this project from a long-term, time horizon? Or are we going to approach it with the same mindset that many approach SmarterCoin and all the other high APR platforms and just make selfish decisions that hurt the ecosystem for our own short-term gain? So the choice is yours, and, on-chain voting is live at the link in the description. It's on the SmarterCoin community snapshot page, and you can find that link on Twitter and Discord as well. Remember, the price of treasure doesn't matter. And I know we've heard that before with the SmarterCoin experiment, but really NFTreasure is as close a match to the dream that was kind of pitched as Fair Launch Foundation as we could possibly get, given the constraints and current economics of this project. NFTreasure and the underlying tokenomics are designed for long-term protocol health and sustainability. It's really the opposite approach of what almost every high APR platform, was pitching and putting out there in late November, December. We have learned all of our lessons from that and built this to be as sustainable as possible. And the tokenomics are designed to support a product that has a chance to become a staple in the NFT and crypto space for years to come. But we have to see slow, steady growth and get to a certain threshold and tipping point before we can all take part in the success of that. And as founders, we have to recognize that that's the time horizon that we're on. Whether it's Jade investing in seed projects, which of course NFTreasure is one of their seed projects, or us being founders and creators of this project, we have to think about the timeline that is required for us to see the adoption that will truly make that allocation that we're each getting as Diamond founders meaningful. So the treasure token was purposely not designed for short-term selling and profit, and deliberately designed to reward the most long-term investors and founders by capturing the long-term revenue of the protocol as it grows and thrives. If you're eligible for an NF key and a founder's allocation, and anyone with a diamond tier at SmarterSwap XYZ is eligible, just go to SmarterSwap XYZ. You can check your status. At this point, you should know if you have one. But if you are do have a diamond tier at SmarterSwap XYZ, then it's time for you to vote how we want to represent NFTreasure as the founding community. Do we lock up the founder allocation for 90 days and then vest those tokens over an additional 90-day period after lockup? Do we lock up the founder allocation for 180 days and then vest those tokens over an additional 180 days? Or do we lock up the founder allocation for 365 days and then vest those tokens over an additional 365 days after the lockup? Think about what will be most attractive to new investors coming into the protocol. Are they going to want to invest in something where 10% of the token supply, which is the founder's allocation that we're getting, are they going to want to invest into something where they know that they're going to get dumped on in the next 3 months? Or would they rather see that allocation locked up for the next 180 days or more and then vested over an additional 180 days or more? This just creates enough space to recognize that NFTreasure will have the time to prove out its revenue structure and model, and we can see that the treasure token approach and its supply cap, when we share the white paper later on in the month, you'll see that we're really looking at 12 to 18 months to hit the supply cap for treasure. And so making sure that, the vesting schedule and the lockup for founders is coinciding with kind of the hitting the supply cap and the potential U-curve correction of treasure token, all of these things kind of connecting together, I think makes a lot of sense. And so in some respects, this vote of how long the lockup period for treasure token is another example of the prisoner's dilemma that we talked about a lot in the smart coin or smarter coin experiment. Do you trust the other 8,040 Diamond Hound founders not to dump on the project early if we give them their allocation early? Or do you want to see the greatest probability of success by choosing a longer term perspective? So that's the game within the game. Are you a pump and dumper, or are you a true founding investor that's looking for long-term sustainability? I think the question to ask is, did we learn anything about sustainability from the Smarter Coin experiment, or will we continue to make the same mistakes of just trying to capture whatever we can in the current moment, take those short-term profits and not really think about how those actions ripple out into the ecosystem long-term? So NFTreasure, I'm biased in saying this, but I think it's going to be a really fun project for all of us to participate in. And I plan on putting out a ton of educational content on how we can each use our personal creativity to launch new NFT projects, to support creators, and to find fun communities and NFT investments while we onboard more and more in real life businesses and customers to the space. That's the ultimate goal. That's how we capture more volume on AVAX than any other NFT marketplace, and then ultimately go multi-chain. It's by becoming really good at creating new NFT use cases and onboarding new customers into the space. But as founders, of course, we have to give this project enough breathing room to take off and hit a tipping point. So project founders in any project have to be good allocators of capital. That's really part of the game of being an owner in anything. And whether that means owning the bonus pool in NFTreasure or just a business on Main Street, we have to do everything in our power to engage with the product, right? So in NFTreasure's case, that's the NFT marketplace and all of the ancillary features being built out. We have to engage with that project and those products in the most meaningful and sustainable way. And if we can come together and do this as the NFTreasure founding community, if we can make decisions from the perspective of sustainability and long-term investing, then there's a much higher chance that NFTreasure turns into something special. And of course, something special ultimately means that that long-term lockup of treasure token is more meaningful, right? Because it's capturing more value potentially. So that's what ultimately allows the revenue loop in NFTreasure to work and benefit founders. And that benefit could potentially be for years to come for those who truly think about this protocol and the treasure box game and all of the dynamics of owning the bonus rewards pool. When you think about that as a founder, what you're doing is you are engaging with the platform in a way that serves the ecosystem and can ultimately benefit a successful protocol for years to come. That's the potential here. So that's all from me. Obviously, I want everybody to vote your conscience and your conviction. You can follow the link in the description to our Snapshot on-chain voting page. There's going to be a 24-hour warm-up period followed by 72 hours of voting. So be sure to spread the word about this so that as many diamond hands as possible express their opinion on how they want this vote to turn out. Is it going to be a 90-day lockup, a 180-day lockup, or a 365-day lockup? The longer term the lockup, the more advantageous for the protocol. So I'm going to advocate for a minimum of a 180-day lockup, but you choose what feels right for you based on how you're reading the economics of the project. Please share your thoughts in the comments below this video. You can also talk about this on Twitter. We need to have discussion about this and how to start thinking about this from a founder's perspective. We can also do that, of course, in Discord. And really, the conversation around NFTreasure, I want it to be about sustainability. I want it to be about whatever you want it to be about, but I think an interesting topic could be sustainability in crypto. Like, what does the next leg up of crypto look like? I think it's going to be SaaS products, sustainable products, products that actually have revenue, that can actually show profit to earnings ratios that are healthy. That's the way that we're thinking about NFTreasure, and that's why I think NFTreasure can be such a successful project, but only if the founding community, you that are watching, decide to make responsible choices as founders. So that's all from me. I'm John Ray with NFTreasure, Smarter Coin, and Jade Protocol. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody.